Hello everyone and welcome to Kiki Crochet. In this video tutorial we're going to learn how to crochet step by step these beautiful and easy slippers. Now let's go ahead and start. The yarn that I'm using is Madame Tricotet Star, which is an 100% acrylic lightweight yarn, and the 5mm crochet hook. In order for your stitches to come out as mine, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video where I have the chart, you need to make a gauge that's 10 stitches and a total of 14 rows, and you should have a square that's 8 centimeters by 8 centimeters. Okay, now let's start. I have already started with my chain, and I have worked a total of 66 chains because I want the beginning part to have a length of 52 centimeters. This way I'm covering the right side of my foot, the heel, and the left side, and in the end we're going to cross them together and sew the front part over here. So I've started with a total of 66 chains, and that means that in row number 1, since we're working with single crochet, we're going to have a total of 65 stitches. Now in the paid pattern that I have under this video tutorial, I also mentioned the measurements in inches as well as with centimeters. So leave the first chain and put your hook in the second chain from the hook and work your first single crochet. Second stitch, 1 single crochet, so 2, next chain, 3, next one, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and keep crocheting 1 single crochet in every stitch up until you have 65 stitches. I've completed row number 1 with a total of 65 single crochet. Now chain 1 and turn your work. So this is how you're always going to be starting your rows. Always chain 1, turn your work, and start crocheting from the first single crochet of the row. 1, next stitch, 2, next one, 3, 4, 5, 6, and keep crocheting again up until you have 65 single crochet. I've completed working row number 2 again with a total of 65 stitches. Now start row number 3 by chaining 1, turn your work again, and starting from the very first stitch, start working your 65 single crochet. Okay, so this is how you're going to be working all of the rows. Now I'm going to work off camera, and for all the sizes that I have mentioned in the chart, we all are going to work a total of 17 rows. I've already worked my 2 rows, so I'm going to go ahead and work the next 15 rows off camera. So for all sizes we need a total of 17 rows of single crochet. When I finish, I'm going to turn my video back on, and we're going to see how to continue from there on. I've completed crocheting my 65 single crochet for a total of 17 rows. Now we're going to finish off, so after my last single crochet, chain 1, cut the yarn, pull the loop, and tighten up. Okay, and turn your work. Now what we're going to do is we're going to separate stitches for the sole. Now if the total number of stitches that I have right over here is an odd number, as I have right now, I have 65 stitches, which is an odd number, we are going to separate 13 stitches for any size that you crochet, okay? So if you have an odd number, separate a total of 13 stitches for the sole. If the total number is an even number, separate a total of 12 stitches for the sole. Now, this is how we're going to separate the stitches. I have a total of 65 stitches, and I'm going to work a total of 13 single crochet for the sole. Okay, so 65 minus 13 is 52. What this means is that when I crochet the 13 single crochet for the sole, I'm going to have a total of 52 stitches in total on my work in which I'm not going to crochet. So in order to know where to start crocheting the sole, out of those 52 stitches, I'm going to divide this number by 2. 52 divided by 2 is 26. What this means is that I'm going to have 26 stitches on the right side, the sole, and 26 stitches on the other side of my work. So since I'm going to have 26 stitches, this means that I'm going to attach my work on the 27th stitch. Okay, so start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So I have 26 stitches on the right side in which I'm not going to crochet. Now I'm going to work my 13 stitches, and from here to the end I have another 26. Okay? So attach the yarn in the 27th stitch. So grab the yarn, pull it through the stitch, and chain 1, and work 1 single crochet in the same stitch. Okay, so 1, and I want 12 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay, so this is going to be my sole. From here to the right side I have 26 stitches and another 26 stitches on the left side. Now chain 1 and turn your work. Starting from the very first stitch, again work 13 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Chain 1, turn your work, and keep crocheting 13 single crochet up until the length of the sole is equal to your foot. So when you measure from the first row of single crochet that you have created up until the end of the sole is going to be equal to the total length of your foot. So when I finish crocheting my sole, I'm going to turn my video back on and I'm going to mention how many rows I've created and how long it is, and then we're going to see how to join to form our slipper. I've completed crocheting and I have a total of 38 rows for the sole. So starting to count from the beginning, I have a total of 55 rows from 1 through 55. But the sole by itself is a total of 38 rows of 13 single crochet. What we're going to do now is I'm going to finish the slipper by, I have already chained 1, cut a very long yarn because the yarn that we're going to cut now is going to help us sew the front and the one side of the slipper. Okay, pull the loop and tighten up. What we're going to do now in order to finish our slipper is we're going to fold the two sides on the corner over here of the sole. So take the one side and fold it on the front, and take the other side and fold it on the front as well. So right here is where our foot is going to slip through. Okay? Now, what you have to be aware of is, in order to avoid making two similar slippers, so two right sides or two left sides, what you're going to do is the one slipper, you're going to put the right side on the bottom and the left side on the top. And on the other slipper, you're going to put the left side on the bottom and the right side on the top. So you have two different slippers, okay? One for your right foot and one for your left foot. Okay, so let's start joining our slipper. Okay, so let's start joining, and make sure, as I mentioned earlier, because on this slipper I have the left side on the top, okay? In order to avoid having two seam slippers, I'm going to put the left side on the bottom, the right side on the top, and I'm going to sew all three sides together right here on the front. Okay, now the sole is a little bit thinner than the two parts, but that's okay. Just stretch it out as you go through. Okay, now let's start sewing together the three parts. So put your sewing needle through the first stitch on the one side, on the second piece, and on the third piece, and sew them together. Okay, now from the front to the back, go through the next stitches. Make sure you're always grabbing all three sides from the back to the front. Okay. From the front to the back. From the back to the front. Make sure you're grabbing all three parts, and as you go through a few stitches, grab the corner and tighten up the yarn. Okay, from the front to the back, from the back to the front, from the front to the back. Okay. Keep sewing up until you finish the front part. Okay, we're almost done. Now grab all three corners and sew them together. All three corner stitches and sew them together. Okay, so we finished sewing the front part together. Okay, now we want to sew the right part, but make sure you do not sew together the middle part of the slipper, just the top and the bottom, because when we wear the slipper, it's going to open up over here a little bit. So if you sew and you hold this piece right over here, it's going to open up and it's not going to look nice. I made that mistake when I was doing my practice slipper. So I thought that because all three are aligned together. I thought that it would be correct to sew them together, but no. Make sure you only sew the top to the sole, okay? So start sewing together in the same exact way we're doing so far. So only the top to the sole. And again, from the front to the back and from the back to the front, attaching both sides together. This is a very easy pair of slippers to make. You can make both in one day. Very, very easy. Okay, so once I finish sewing, I'm going to turn my video back on and we're going to see how to attach the other side as well. So keep sewing up until the whole side over here has closed up. I've completed joining the whole side. Now we're going to make a knot. Okay, and go ahead and weave in the end on the back loops over here of the single crochet that we've made. Once I secure my yarn, I'm going to turn my video back on and we're going to see how to join the other side as well. Okay, so I've completed sewing the front and the right side of my slipper. Here is where our foot is going to go through. So what we want to do now, be careful, do not make to avoid any mistakes. We want to sew the sole to the bottom part of the piece right over here, the one that's in between, okay? So we sewed the top to the sole. Now we want to sew the middle part to the sole, okay? Make sure you do not sew any part of the top part over here, because again, as I mentioned earlier, when our slipper is going to open up, it's going to look bad. So make sure you do not attach any stitches of the top part. We only want to attach this piece, the middle piece, to our sole. So cut a long piece of yarn and start sewing in the same exact way we sewed the other sides together. So take the needle from the front to the back and from the back to the front. From the front to the back and from the back to the front. Make sure you're attaching both sides together. Okay, so go ahead and sew up until you close up all of this gap over here. And when I finish joining the two sides together, I'm going to turn my video back on and we're going to see how our slipper is going to look completed. I've completed sewing the other part as well. Okay, so we have sewed all around our slipper, and this side that we sewed, all of our sides, is going to be the wrong side of our slipper. So turn the inside out. Okay, just open up the corners a little bit with your hands for the first time. Okay, and our slippers are all done. This is how they look like. So thanks for watching, please subscribe, and if you like the video, please press like and leave a comment. Thanks again, bye bye!